this coming decade, 2020, is and moving forward, the next 10 years is going to be a decade of dichotomies. You're not going to see the work that we're doing mitigating or assuaging any of anti-whiteism or anything that the anti-whites are doing. You're not going to see a pushing back. Does that make sense? Things are not going to be slowed down or halted or what have you when it comes to anti-whiteism. Our activities are going to grow parallel to theirs. So this is going to be a decade of stark dichotomies. There is, as I said on Red Ice, there are two storms on our horizon, one of darkness, one of light, and they are both rapidly heading our direction. Now, the darkness is the anti-whiteism that is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get worse over the next 10 years. We are going to see more speech restrictions. We are going to see more restrictions on our right to self-defense. We are going to see our numbers dwindling in every single one of our states, in every single one of our provinces, every single one of our counties and countries. We're going to see the anti-whites taking increasing, not just the anti-white elites that know exactly what they're doing and are smart enough to manage this in a way that will easily bring us to our destruction. No, the fanatical anti-whites, the really religious, fanatical fundamentalists that are seeking with all of their being to avenge themselves in their minds. What does the anti-white want most of all? What is the anti-white working toward most of all? That is to inflict harm on you for that sense of victimization, that inferiority that is inspired in them, that sense of being less than, that sense of being inferior that is inspired in them by us merely being present. That is what the anti-white wants to avenge themselves for. They want to harm us, and they will continue to harm us. They will get into the halls of governance, and they will not have opposition. These parties that otherwise were anti-white, but just not as anti-white, that held the hands a little bit. Maybe they were implicitly white concerned, but they are no longer there in strong enough or large enough numbers in a democracy to hold anything back. That will continue to march forward over the next decade, and we will see the victimization ramp up from year to year to year by the anti-whites. But at the same time, that storm of light is also approaching. We will continue to grow. Our message, this curative contagion, will continue to reach around the globe, and we will grow in parallel as the anti-whites grow. We will grow as they grow, not diminish. They will not be drawn down by our activities. There will not be a pulling back of the things that they do. There will not be these grand repeals that people who work in the political spheres think they're going to be able to achieve some way. Do not look for our successes in how much we mitigate the anti-white scourge. Do not look for them to be stifled. Do not look for their voices to be quelled. Do not look for their power to be reduced over the next 10 years, because you will not find victory in that. Victory is going to be found in our voice. Victory is going to be found in the songs that we then sing as we grow stronger by the year. Victory will be in those dazzling eyes of our youngest children that are born into these homes now, inured, hardened against the anti-whiteism that grows in that darkness around our homes. That is where our victories are to be found, ladies and gentlemen. Don't allow yourself to sink into the depravity, into the black pill, into the misery state that so many of our people allow themselves to sink simply because the anti-white power isn't being drawn down. It won't be. This is a runaway train, and you're going to see it crash. All that matters now is that we build our strength, that we come together, that we build this art that we have, that we spread this curative contagion, the dialectics, the lexicon, to as many of our people as we can. And each year, that soil will become richer. Each year, more people are going to rescind their allegiance from these wayward and misbegotten authorities. Each year, more will come to us, and it will be like that hockey stick graph. They will grow, and we will grow right beside them. Don't look for the victory in the drawing down of the anti-whites. Look for the victory in the songs and our voices who rise up in contest with their discordant noise, with their cackles and their cries for bloodshed. Only when the harmony of our voices comes together in a grand symphony of music will we then be able to contend with the hell that they have brought from the depths of this earth, from the mires and the sewers of the world. Only then will the light triumph over the darkness. There will be no repeal of their evil. There will be a victory, and it will be ours. That is what the next decade has to offer for us, and you can be a player. God has spoken to you in one way or another. You have been touched by nature, by chance, by the gods, by the God. You have been chosen now to hear those silver trumpets for service to white well-being. Your life is important. Your deeds, your thoughts, your actions. These 10 years are going to decide whether Western kind survives or dies. What role are you going to play? Are you going to rise to answer that divine entity that has called down to you? Are you going to bend your knee to that biospirit and say, what more, blood-covered and spattered metaphorically in the hardship of this struggle? What more, I will gladly serve you? Are you going to stand shoulder to shoulder with the greats who stand now and those whose ghosts stand with us still? Whose names will be said in those days when they look back, the historians of our race, and they say 2020 was when it began? Will it be yours? Will you be remembered? You have a choice. You were given the message. You have been touched. Your life is important. Are you going to do your duty? I will look for you. on those front lines, every one of you. And I know I'll see you there.